Contemporary art today is a multimedia venture, and many artists work in multiple ways to express themselves. But the difference with Felipe is that he has the professional skill set for these various arts, and that brings a level of craft and intention to his work that sets it apart from a lot of the other artists who dabble in other media.
I think this is one of those great things about being an art supporter in Atlanta, to find someone who kind of is this like triple threat of music and video, and really both poetry and narrative. I mean, you get narrative and video. Felipe also, loves poetry and loves beauty. I mean, it's quite a combination. It's sort of a Renaissance combination. And to be able to help do something to share that to the world and then make it into this sort of recurring thing, I mean, that's what we should be about. We should be about finding these amazing talents like Felipe and letting him do everything that he can do, because, just when you think that you've seen it all, he comes up with something new that is like, oh my gosh, he's talented at that too. And I think that, in terms of the narrative, when you're shooting video, journalistic video, or you're trying to kind of tell a story about someone's work, you have to have a strong sense of the narrative. And I think that actually comes into play in his music too, that in doing music for silent films, you really are making decisions about how the music is supporting the narrative, and you have to really understand the narrative to do that.
Felipe is astoundingly energetic, and his mind is constantly shifting back and forth and working in multiple ways, and it's a very rich experience to work with him, and I think it's evident in his videos. Each one is quite different. He shifts the format, he tries new ways of presenting images, split screen, and so forth. So it's another level of creativity that make his videos different from your standard fare.
He's a human being communicating, but he's doing it extremely well. And I think that he's pushing himself, and he's also being very honest with himself, which I think is the key of any kind of art form, is really trying to make work about those things that you care about, because the rest of it doesn't matter. Felipe's interest in poetry is very interesting to me, because poetry really speaks to our interior hopes and dreams in a certain way. It's a place where we're vulnerable, where we're fragile, where we're taking a moment, we're taking time to sort of be honest in some way. And I think that that's something that, to translate between words, which is a place of that interiority, to also be able to translate it into images, into sound. I mean, because music is the thing that really works on us most powerfully. I think it's a really interesting combination, and you sometimes get people that can work well in video and in music, but the link between that with the poetry, of the interiority, the sense of the human, is really amazing. And you see that absolutely. And I mean, I love dance, but Felipe has an amazing way of capturing the dancers in not just their movement, but their intentionality, their interior lives. Because dance is a very expressive art form, but it's almost one that works on its own language, and you have to be sensitive to the language. You have to educate yourself a bit on the language, and accept to the sense that it's always just human, right? And I think Felipe does an incredible job of capturing that.
Many artists have a signature, and it's the same leitmotif throughout their career, or they're exploring the same issues, or they're expressing themselves in the same way. And Felipe's a bit of a chameleon in that regard, because he really tailors his efforts to the task at hand. And something like our installation at our fundraiser Bodies of Art looks and feels different than the documentary videos that he does on our website. And then to see Nosferatu and that's Felipe the musician and composer, it's sometimes surprising that all of it comes out of one person's head.
I'm a big believer that everything comes down to relationships, and that's what drives every relationship. In the case of working with Felipe, it was really a question of seeing his work and seeing how willing he was to go beyond the norm, but also having this discipline behind his work that would really provide the foundation for a project of this kind.
I think that whenever you find an artist who is willing to push himself and to push what the various forms can do, especially in terms of reaching an audience, that's exciting because that's when you want to give them more opportunity. You want to see what else they can do. This has always been the case with Felipe, that you expect that, oh, he's this, but no, he's more than that. He's more than that too. And at each point he's surprising you, and you kind of, that's when you really want to say, this is worth investing in. This is worth seeing where he can take it, because I think that Felipe has a great desire to reach as many people as possible, and the sort of beauty and sort of like truth that he's dealing with, you want to get it out there. You want to disseminate it and see what it can do in the world.